You all, we are not licensed professionals. You know, we are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, you know, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again. Welcome back to another episode of Friendship University. I feel like it's been so long since I've talked to you all in real time, IRL. As some of you all know, and others that are just joining us, I am Kristen. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Miki. Miki, how you been, boo?
Fucking tired. No, I'm kidding. I've been good. Actually, I've been really good. Life is really settling into a really good groove. You know, a lot of really good things happening right now. So, cannot complain. Also, do you know why it feels so long since we've had an episode? Because like I said last episode, we recorded 2 episodes in one day.
Wow.
So we actually were off last week because you were at Comic-Con. How was it? Tell us more about it.
You're going to put us back on blast like that, yes. To ensure that our audience did not have to miss out on a week of our awesome conversations. We did multiple recordings in one day for you all, so you're welcome. Anywho, yes, I was at Comic-Con. Great experience. I am happy I went because getting there was a little bit of a hassle with inflation. Flights were obscenely high. I'm talking about, as someone who frequently flies, I could not believe how much they were charging to go to California from my airport. But we made it. The place we stayed in, shout out to my really, really great friend. You know who you are when you're listening. Let us stay in their loft. And it was amazing. The loft was beautiful. It was super close to it was in downtown, super close to the convention center and all of the hotels we had to go to for all of the events. So I had an amazing time.
Well, yeah, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah. You went on a vacation, didn't you?
I stayed at the house. I chilled out the house, played video games, hung out with Bae.
Y'all left town. That's a vacation.
But that was after my PTO was over, so that didn't count.
Yikes. I don't think I realized it was after your PTO was over.
Time doesn't exist, honestly. Like, I don't even know what day it is anymore. I just, wake up and do it again and again and again. I couldn't tell you what today is.
Tragic. Well, can you think about one great moment from the time you took off from work? I feel like I know what you're going to say.
Not working. That was the best
Number
part.
2. That was number 2. I thought you were going to say sleeping.
Sleeping is in the top 5 for sure. I would say not working, going to see my nephew's basketball game.
You better be out here supporting.
Yeah.
Are they tall like you?
More or less, yeah. One of them's actually pretty tall. The other one I would say is average height for his age. At least I don't know. I don't know how tall 6-year-olds are supposed to be. So, but that was pretty nice. Hanging out with Bae, like I said, that was pretty cool. But yeah, honestly, just taking it easy and not working. That was the best part. You know, you gotta take what you can get now.
That's fair. I actually didn't realize I wasn't working. To be fair, I have had to teach myself to be one of those people who take vacation and actually not work.
Okay, listen. You used to be out here just
I
working.
used to have my laptop,
Laptop,
my little
okay.
MacBook with me. I'd be like, let me just answer
A few emails. Let me check
few
Slack.
emails. Let me just check
She be on the
Slack. Let me
plane
just do this on the
working, the
plane.
terminal, the bus,
But
anyway, the Uber.
but this trip, I specifically left my MacBook at home. I did not look at anything pertaining to my work, and it felt good. And I think that aided in me having such a good time. And like I said, it was a great experience. I got to see Abbott Elementary, that whole cast. I think I talked about that. We saw a amazing hip hop panel with a whole bunch of like legends and Pharaoh Monarch, who is like a amazing artist, a hip hop artist. He just came out with a comic, and so I was able to snag like one of the very first prints of that comic. Yeah, it was so much going on. Shout out to Quinta, because not only was the panel funny, outside of one part that I will not talk about, because I love you, girl, and we gonna work together one day. So I go say it. The panel, and they had an experience you can go through where you actually went through like the Abbott Elementary School or whatever. And they did like a live step show. It was really nice.
I need to give that show a second chance. Like, the first episode wasn't giving for me, which, okay, just to let people know, when it comes to shows, like, unless someone gets murked in the first episode, I'm typically losing interest.
You gotta be scalped.
I have to be scalped, okay? I need to have my muffin cap peeled back blued in the first episode for me to continue watching. Which I know, like, there's certain shows that take a while to pick up and it gets really good later. But like, my attention span, it's like 2 seconds. That's it. That's all you get.
That's fair. I think. Well, we had quite a bit of time in the line. We were waiting in for the Abbott Elementary experience. And we were talking to a young lady who, knew the show was likened to The Office. And she didn't like The Office. So she was like, I think that's a part of why I'm not really feeling this show. And I get it. Like, The Office is one of those shows where you actually either really find it very funny or you don't really mess with it. There's really no in between.
That explains a lot, because I do not like The Office. I don't hate it. Like, I can watch some episodes and like giggle, but like, I know some people who like can quote it from like beginning to end.
It has a cult following for sure. So very happy I got to experience that. Saw some amazing trailers. Spent a lot of money. Had some amazing food. So yeah, that was Comic-Con. You all can look out on Instagram. I'll be posting some photos from there. I did do some cosplay, so if you want to check that out, I'll probably post that to social media at some point soon. I can't say when because I'd be tired. So
Mood.
I'm going to do my best. Anywho, for those who already know and those that are just tuning in, you all know you can expect episodes from us every Friday, Friendship Fridays. And so we are back with another discussion topic this week. We're going to be talking about introverts and extroverts this week. That's going to be our topic of discussion. So we usually open with an icebreaker of some sort. Like I said, several weeks in the making now. Questions have just been hitting. If you all have any suggestions for other icebreakers or things that you would like us to discuss, you can look out for the information on how to contact us about that in the description box below. This week we're discussing introverts and extroverts. And just for some context, I did do a little bit of research and found some information about extrovert or extrovertism and introversion. So in social situations, an extrovert and introvert personality will display very different behaviors. Introverts show a preference for seeking, engaging, and enjoying social interactions, whereas introverts tend to be reserved and withdrawn in social settings, often preferring to avoid social situations altogether. And so, if for context, if you want to take any quizzes or kind of see where you are on that spectrum. I did visit the Myers-Briggs personality type website, and we'll put that in the description box below. And you can see where you lie. So there are a couple of statements you can use as a guideline to each to see which one applies to you. So if you're looking at an extrovert, some of these statements that would apply to you will say, I feel comfortable in groups and like working in them. I am seen as an outgoing or as a people person. I sometimes jump too quickly into an activity and don't allow enough time to think it over. And I have a wide range of friends and know lots of people. So that's some statements that would apply to you if you're looking at an extrovert. And then if you're looking at an introvert, some statements that will apply to you is, I am seen as reflective or reserved. I feel comfortable being alone and like things that I can do on my own. I prefer to know just a few people very well. I sometimes forget to check with the outside world to see if my ideas really fit the experience. So those are just a few statements. We'll put the link in the description box. I believe it will take you to a quiz where you can answer a couple of questions and figure out where you lie. But yeah, so this week I thought I would ask, I feel like I already know the answer, but I don't think we've ever actually had the full conversation. Miki, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm an introvert disguised. Let me rephrase that. I'm an introvert poorly disguised as an extrovert.
Wow.
I do not get my energy from being around people.
That's fair.
People tend to drain me, and make me tired. However, my social battery or whatever, it depletes at different rates for different people. So like, our mutual friend, like my best friends, like close friends or family, well, close friends, my cat. Like, I can spend a long period of time with those people, like a long time, like, and really enjoy my time. But there's going to come a point where I'm like, I need you to get out of my face for at least 24 hours so I can recharge. I don't know if that's a normal experience. Like, I do know some people who are like, oh yeah, I get so recharged from being around people. Like, they always have someone over hanging out, or they're always going out or something like that. That's not me, not my thing. And even in the times where like I am being kind of extroverted, I tend to have like a buffer that kind of helps me navigate through it, like going to a concert or going to an event where it's like I don't have to be on the entire time.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Because like if I'm at a concert, like we're mainly there for the music, and I'd be like, what? What? Yeah, I heard. Yeah, girl. Yeah, that sounds like fun. What? Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just listen to the music.
Let's just listen to music. Okay, right. And then we're having a good time. Just don't talk to me right now. So that's kind of where I kind of sit on it, honestly. I won't say I need as much alone time as probably like a full blown introvert would need, where they're like, okay, I need multiple days to recharge. Like, I'm pretty much like give me an afternoon to myself and I'm ready to go. But how about you?
That's fair. So, I guess I would say when it comes to being social, I'm definitely an extrovert. So, I can a lot of times talk to anyone about anything and not feel drained after multiple group experiences. So, I rarely, I would say I'm an extrovert most of the time. I'm an introverted extrovert. Like, I do like my alone time, but I rarely feel like a massive drainage after social events or being in groups of people or even being around small groups, just one-on-one entertainment with friends or family and different things like that. There are certain situations where I do feel energized after going out or like being around people for sure. So that's why I feel like I'm more so an extrovert than an introvert. Now I can be by myself for sure. Um, but I'm very social. Anyone who knows me knows I love to communicate and just love to have a good time and love to make sure that everyone around me is having a good time. And so that plays into it. I read that, let me see what I said. I read that extroverts get energy from groups and introverts feel depleted after group events. And so that's kind of what I base my definition on. Like, I don't often feel depleted after a group event. Like where I feel like I need a certain amount of hours to recharge or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I'd be tired. I'd be sleepy. Like I just went out of town this weekend actually for like a birthday thing, which I had a great time, fabulous time. But when I came home, I was like, I'm tired. Now, mind you, I drove out of town for this, but even still, like I was like, I just want to take a nap. Like I said, there was nothing that happened. Like I had a really good time. I was just like, okay, battery is at 5%.
It was time for a recharge,
Time for a recharge.
which is fine. And there are people that I do interact with that feeling will come after our interaction. Like I'm like, ooh, this was a lot. I need to take like 24 hours to get myself together. And I think also too is because I don't know, I do a lot of things alone too. So like I oftentimes will go to the movies by myself or go out to eat by myself or, go on hikes, do all these things with myself, which you're still kind of around people, but you're singular, so you're not really having to feel that weight of holding conversation or entertainment, because on some level you want to make sure that the person you're with is enjoying themselves. And so yeah, I don't know how that works for me, because it's weird when I think about it. I'm saying it out loud now. I enjoy being in groups and I enjoy going out, but I also really like being with myself.
I think there's like actually a word for someone who's like right in the middle. So
I don't know. I have to look that up. I'm not sure. So, let us know in the comments what you all are. We're going to discuss a little bit this week about our friend groups and how we deal with our friends who may be introverts and we're extroverts, or vice versa. As someone who, like for me, instance, I know you have to recharge and different things like that. So how do you handle me as an extrovert who it's always like, let's go do X, Y, Z and let's do this and let's go here.
I mean,
or anyone in your group, honestly, because I feel like I can't be the only one. I feel like you are around a lot of sociable people, because I've seen some of your other friends and they are chatty.
they are pretty chatty. Honestly, like I just from jump, I don't set them up with the expectation that we're gonna hang out every day. Like I don't ever start the process of let's hang out every day. Like I said, there's certain people, yes, I can do that with. Very few and far between. But unless we're at that point, it's usually just like, all right, cool, I'll see you next time. Bye. And, like, luckily, I don't think my friends take it personally. Like, no one's ever been like, oh, you never come around. Or, oh, okay, that's not true. I've actually had that. I've had that feedback before.
How did you handle that feedback when they told you never come around?
I mean, they weren't wrong. I'm not gonna lie about that. This kind of relates to the episode we had about like flaky friends, where I had a habit of being flaky just because I didn't know how to communicate that I liked to like spend time by myself and needed time to recharge. It was just kind of one of those like they would ask me to hang out and I'd be like, sure, that sounds fun, and then I'd be like, I really don't want to go, and just like I would cancel or maybe not like respond or something like that. So like I kind of had the reputation of being a little on the flaky side. It's mainly like I said because I didn't know how to communicate like my needs and stuff like that at that point in time, where I was probably should have been like, hey, I'm just not here, or I'm sorry, not here. More so, I'm not mentally ready or capable to hang out, or I'm just tired or whatever. I'm a lot better about letting people know that now. I just let them know, hey, I'm just not really feeling it. I'm just gonna chill at the house. I mean, in today's day and age of Kofifi, monkeypox,
You got a little bit of
the
an
fall of
out.
America, like you really do have an out. Like you can be like, listen, I'm in shambles, and people are like, you know what, same. So I'm not saying to use that as an excuse. I'm just saying, like, if you're having a bad day and you don't want to go out, it's totally understandable because the world is on fire. But yeah, as far, like I said, I was just like communicating that. Like, I don't think like you take it personally when I'm like, I don't really want to hang out, or like I don't really want to do anything. Then again, you are one of the people where like I don't mind hanging around you. So the thing, oh my god. So the thing is, like with you though, and it kind of like what the difference between like the friends that or friends or people I can hang around with like pretty frequently versus the ones I can't typically hang around pretty frequently is that I don't really have to be like turned on to be around you. Where it's like I have to put on this like persona, or not persona, but more so like this like, let's chat it up 24/7, and there should be no awkward silences,
Oh
and we can't
yeah,
sit
we
in
definitely
quiet
can
and
sit
just
in
like chill
quiet.
and watch TV and just do our own thing. We're like we hang around each other, and there's sometimes we're just like dead silent, dude. Like
Yeah, no
just
conversation
looking
for.
into the void or whatever, just watching TV or something. Which is not to say there's anything wrong with like the other relationships I have. It's just a little bit more, for lack of a better term, performative, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Which I don't want to make it sound like I'm like not being myself. Like I'm being myself, but it's just more of like a engaged version of myself, version of like instead of the one that you would see chilling on my couch watching TV, just zoned out. So
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. And I think for me, that may also be why I can be around people a lot because we be chilling a lot. Like I do go out. I do have my friends. Like I feel like I have a 50-50 group. Like 50% are extroverts and 50% are introverts. But even with like my introverts, I feel like I see them very often. Cause we just be chilling. We don't always have to like go out and be around a whole group of people. But I think communication is key. So I think it's very like cool that you realized that communicating and being honest about not necessarily not wanting to hang out with that person, but just needing time for yourself.
I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes it's the person, but yeah, sure.
Whoa! Woo! I'm not gonna touch that.
I'm kidding. I love everybody,
Meh.
to varying degrees.
I can't. I was gonna say I can't relate, but that's not true. So when you think about balance with being somewhat more introverted versus like having some social people around you, how do you find that balance where you don't feel like you're overexerting yourself, but you also are trying to ensure that someone's not maybe feeling neglected or not seen?
TBD, because I don't know yet. I am still working on trying to find that good balance because I have a habit of avoiding certain things or like situations that make me uncomfortable. So certain relationships I have, which I'm not going to disclose, it's not that important. This is actually really like hard to explain. Where like those relationships are important. I understand they're important. They're also very like hard relationships to keep up. So it's kind of like, how do I fit in those kind of relationships in my life where it's like, you know, we just don't, not so much that we don't like each other. It's like we don't see eye to eye all the time. Like it can be kind of like a more bumpy relationship, but like you still care. They still care about you kind of thing. So like trying to like give those relationships more energy and not avoid them while also like not over prioritizing other relationships, like, maybe like my best friend or like, my cat or whatever, where it's like I'm gonna spend all my time with this like one or two things.
That cat's number one. I'm gonna just tell
That
you
cat's always gonna
that.
be number
I've
one,
accepted it.
forever and always number one. And then of course there's a third part about like spending time with myself and like not over prioritizing. I mean, of course I'm always going to prioritize myself above anybody else.
Absolutely. Self-preservation.
Of course, love everybody, but I got to secure my mask first. I got to put me first, Lucius. Have we used that one already? We already used that one.
We did, but we can keep referencing. They tell you on the plane, secure your mask first before putting it on any children or elderly or anyone else next to you.
Okay, F them kids.
I don't think that's what they meant.
You got to read between the lines.
I think the lines meant that you can't give someone oxygen if you cannot receive oxygen.
Well, the way I took it is the kids, don't worry about it. They be all right.
Wow. We love the kids.
Anyway, and then of course, like I was saying, not over prioritizing like my like time by myself, where it's like I'm just gonna like turn into a little like turtle and like not hang out with anybody. Honestly, I always reference my anxiety, but my mental health and anxiety do play a big part in, a lot of that decision making, maybe subconscious or not, where it's like was like, okay, I'm really anxious, I'm just gonna spend time by myself and like shut everyone out. Or like, this person makes me feel good, I'm gonna hyper fixate on hanging out with that person, kind of thing. So ask me again in a couple of months.
I mean, that's fair. I think even with you saying that, the mental health and anxiety play a role in it, that's a self-realization to know. This is something Miguel, can play a part in.
We have so much to work through. Oh my gosh.
And you have nothing but time. Look at God.
Oh my gosh. So much time.
Good. You're going to be good. You're going to be great. I think for me, I have been able to try to use my discernment and read people because there have been certain situations where I was dealing with an introvert and I knew they were an introvert, but I also knew that the reason they wanted to be inside wasn't because they were an introvert, more so than them maybe experiencing a downer moment. So my extroverted spirit wanted to pull them out of that moment. And sometimes that's okay. And sometimes you just need to mind your business.
Okay, listen.
Sometimes they just need to
Your heart was in the right place, but you gotta be careful sometimes.
So please, people, read the room. Read the room, because sometimes I have experienced it as an extrovert. I want to get people out. I want to get people having a good time. I love experiences. I love going out and experiencing things. And it's always cool for me when anyone, but especially people I care about, are experiencing those things with me. So I'm always going out looking for like the next moment in life. Like, how can I make a moment out of this? How can I make a memory out of this? Because I feel like memories and moments, those make up the thoughts we have every day, and they make up the way we feel. And so I try to make sure that the experiences that I'm having play a positive role in the thoughts that I have about myself, about my relationships on a day-to-day basis. And so maybe your friend isn't an introvert. They just don't want to always go out to eat.
So that actually brings me to a question I wanted to ask you. How do an introvert and extrovert meet in the middle?
So you kind of touched on our situation being a little unique because you do like to have a little bit more alone time than I do. And so I will be like, I haven't seen you in X amount of days, whatever, because I'm very vocal. And we can just chill on the couch and watch some TV or play some video games. And I feel like the appeasement of you letting me in your bubble and me not expecting you to have to come out of that bubble, right? So I'm meeting you where you are. I'll come to your house, or you can come wherever, and we just spend that quality time together. That's one way to just meet someone where they are. So maybe they don't necessarily want your introverted friend may not necessarily need to not spend time with you, but maybe they just want to go out. Maybe they don't want to be in public. Maybe they don't want to be around a large group of people. So thinking about their interest and how you can accommodate them where they are. And then communication, honestly. Just being honest, because I have had friends before who have told me, like, they either will say, you invite me too many places. Like, do not invite me anywhere else. Or people who be like, you don't invite me enough places. And so that kind of communication of understanding, like, okay, this person is expressing overload, or this person is expressing a little bit more interest, and listening about that. And then again, and we've discussed this, I feel like, in multiple topics, but it's really important to know the people. Read the room. Know the people you're dealing with. If you're going to call someone your friend and you're going to say that you care about them and you know them, then, like, try to incorporate things you know they will enjoy. Mm-hmm. If you always talking about hiking Stone Mountain and you know they don't even own no hiking shoes, they only own Jordans, Nikes, the fresh ones, and they're not trying to crease them, then don't be inviting them to hike Stone Mountain.
Okay.
Not all the time, and again, you both have to be in the middle. Or even if, like, you know someone who is working on themselves, let's say in a realm of health, and you like to eat, but you know this person is, like, on a journey to maybe better their eating habits or better their exercise habits or different things like that. Don't invite them to JR Crickets. Don't invite them to, you know what I'm saying, Mary Mac's Tea Room, where you can get 5 pieces of fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, black eyed peas, a piece of cornbread on the side, and a sweet iced tea. Maybe that's not for them. Maybe you need to look at some other alternative. If you like to eat, then try to go somewhere that they like to eat, that they can enjoy themselves and not have to. Because what I have realized about introverts is some of the depletion comes with preparation. So it's like, if I'm inviting somebody somewhere where maybe they aren't an introvert, let's say, where they're not accustomed to the environment or they don't know how they'll fit in, they're preparing before they get there, and that's already depleting their energy.
I will talk myself out of something. I'll be like, yeah, let's totally go do this thing. And as it comes up, I'll start thinking about, I have to get dressed, I have to wear clothes, I got to do this, that, and the third. I'm just like, and by the time it gets there, I'm like, I'm not going.
I'm uptight.
Okay?
Yeah, I feel that. So, yeah, I try to be aware of that because, like I said, as someone who can be around people a lot, and that may be because I grew up in a big family and we were close, and so I was outside of my siblings are pretty much older than me, so I was by myself in the house per se with my parents and like middle school and going in, but I still spent time with them like outside of school. So even though we didn't live together, we would spend weekends together. They would come pick me up. I would stay at their house all weekend, or you know, we would go on vacation together, concerts, all types of stuff. I was always around family, cookouts with my extended family, cousins, aunties, uncles. We were always together. So I'm used to being around a multitude of people all the time and like enjoying myself while doing it.
I used to spend a lot of time with my family, and then I discovered video games and started just hiding in my room. So yeah, naturally moving out and living by myself was just great.
Living by yourself is amazing. I will say,
I'd be in my little
if you
cave.
are blessed to have that experience, and for some people, that is not the cup of tea. That's not their zhuzh. They don't want to live by themselves, and I get it. You know, you like company, but being by yourself and enjoying your own company, chef's kiss is really unmatched, honestly.
I do actually have a little tip for the extrovert introvert relationship. Introverts, this is one's for you, lovely people out there. If you constantly tell people that you do not want to show up to a function and they stop inviting you to said types of functions, do not get upset that you have no longer been invited to the function.
That is the one and the two. Now that is a quick way to tap dance on my nerve. Because
Truly. Don't ever hit me up talking about, oh, I just wanted an invite. Invite would have been nice. I've invited you to the past 12. I'm not going to start inviting you to the 13th, 14th, or 15th. It like you got to do something. Like I understand being introverted and like you want to be within your bubble and you want to be in your comfort zone, but you got to at least show up once or twice.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that as an introvert because I can't speak to that, but I can speak to how an extrovert can kind of meet someone in the middle. But yes, show up.
You got to show face. I show face at least once a month to hit my quota.
You really do.
So then I can go back home and be like, and get my next invite.
You are like, I'm going to be on the gram once a month.
One time.
They'll see me. And, listen, we are in a season of dance. The Beyonce, Drake, the girls want you out here. They want you outside. You said you outside, but you ain't that outside.
Oh. And I'm going to be inside the house. It's hot. Monkeypox, Rona.
Oh,
World War III.
Polio. Saying that makes me feel like I'm in 1922. Polio.
Well, here we are.
Kids in New York are catching polio. What is
tired.
actually happening?
I am so tired.
But you are so right. So, yes, meeting in the middle and meeting in the middle on both sides.
Okay.
It's an equal, it's not a tug of war. Y'all know where the little, what's it called? The flag lies in the middle of the tug of war. Y'all need to meet right there.
I actually have one more tip for the extroverts.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Make new friends.
Oh!
And what I mean by that is have friends for different occasions. Mm-hmm. I have friends who are nerds where I enjoy doing nerdy things with, like game nights or going to like comic book stores. I have friends that like going to festivals and like concerts. I have friends that, I was going to say read, but I don't have friends that really enjoy reading. I guess I have friends who enjoy reading. I just don't enjoy reading. I'm getting there though.
You're getting there though.
I picked up this thing called The Adventure Zone. I'm very excited to read it. It's a graphic novel. We're starting off slow, okay?
Listen, don't shorten your accomplishments. You're not picking up Dr. Seuss.
I thought about it.
This is an adult graphic novel that you're reading. I'm looking at the book. It's pretty thick.
It's about Dungeons and Dragons because, I'm a nerd. But yeah, like I said, have friends for different occasions. Like if your introverted friend doesn't want to go hit the club with you, go make some club friends and you can hit them up and go to the club.
Okay. How you gonna behave from outside of the club?
If you can't even get in.
Okay. That is a great point. Oh my God, that was good.
But that's all I got for you, host.
And that was good, actually. I agree with that. I feel like I do have friend groups for different occasions. I know who I can call if I want to get out in nature and hike or do things, and
there's nothing wrong with that. Like different people share different interests together. Like,
Absolutely. I think it's interesting because, and we can have this discussion maybe in another conversation about like melding friend groups. I don't know if you ever had to do that. Some people are very adverse to having their friend groups meet one another. Like they're like, these are separate portions of my life. They're compartments, and I don't ever want them. You know how someone is like, I don't like my food on my plate to touch.
Mm-hmm. That's me.
It's kind of like
I don't like my mashed potatoes to touch my peas. Actually, that's not true. I like it now. Back in the day, I used to hate it. If my
psycho.
Okay, listen. If my steak touched my mashed potatoes, it was a wrap. I was gonna cry. I am the kind of I do compartmentalize my people in my life. Not necessarily like on purpose. It's just I haven't had much urge to host them all together. Mind you, I don't celebrate my birthday like that. Like I don't throw myself
Right,
birthday
there's no
parties.
event that
There's not right.
happens to bring all these people together.
I mean, there's been like concerts I've invited like a lot of friends to, and they've met that way. But I've never had like a let's all like become best friends together. It's like a if we're at this like the club, we'll be like, hey, this is my friend, Kristen, and this is whoever. Like, oh, hey, and then y'all go your separate ways, and that's it.
Yeah. A lot of talking in the club.
So maybe like if I ever have like throw myself a birthday party or like I don't know my funeral, then y'all meet.
Oh, like we just went.
I'm sorry.
We went from
That's gonna happen
celebrating
so
life.
long. That's gonna be so long from now.
It really is. If the prayers of the righteous have anything to do with it, it will be living.
It's okay. I'll come back as a
long life.
ghost.
Bitch, I'm a ghost.
Bitch, I'm a ghost.
That's fair. So I will say you don't have to have the, I guess, impression that just because your friend groups meet that they have to all be friends. But I can see where the anxiety can come from in you knowing each of these people individually and considering how they will mesh as a collective. Because I have been in some situations where it was perfect and everybody got along, and I have been in some situations where it went left.
And knowing all of my friends and their personalities, it would probably go left, honestly.
That is true.
Depending on who I match together, it really would depend.
But there are ways to do it, like birthdays, for instance. If you have like dinners and stuff, and you do like seating arrangements or different things. And this is just the Martha. This is like the Tia Mori in me, honestly. I'm like a person. I like to host things and have these parties and different things. You could do seating arrangements. So if you ever do want to do a big group where you want to include everyone, try to either make it a situation where it's intermingling, meaning like bowling or something where people can talk, or like video gaming, like an arcade. Or if you're doing a sit down dinner, do a seating arrangement. And make sure that like people who you feel like will mesh, or even like some instances, friends need to be around other people to feel comfortable. Like introverts, especially, like our mutual friend. When I take them out to meet other people, they may not always be the most open. So
That's fair. Yeah, that's valid. I probably should do a better job of like intermingling my friends, but
you don't always have to
one
do
thing
it.
at a time.
Yes, one step at a time. So we are here, and as an extrovert, a self-proclaimed extrovert, someone who has taken assessments and continuously gotten extrovert, which again for me is very strange because I enjoy being by myself. I can literally go days without talking to someone on the phone or anything, any interaction. Maybe that's not true because I be talking to the Lord. I don't know. But I do enjoy going out. And an introvert, we make it work.
Like I said, you probably can be somewhere in the middle somewhere, but we do make it work.
I need to figure... Excuse me? I need to figure out what that term is.
I'm sure you'll figure it out.
I'll look it up after the show. If anyone out there listening knows what it is, what the median between extrovert and introvert is, let us know. Also, you can let us know in the comments what you test as or what you feel like you are, how you handle the opposite when it comes to your friendship groups. And we're going to post all of the links and the resources we have to those tests and articles we read on introverts and extroverts in the description box below. You can find us on social media. We are on Twitter at Funny Podcast. That is FUNI Podcast. We're also on Instagram, Friendship University Podcast. Give us a follow. Get our engagement up. We want to continue to be out here giving content to you all. Super easy way to ensure that we are able to keep making this content is following us on social media, finding us on Instagram, finding us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, rating us, letting us know how you feel about the podcast. If you have any ideas or anything you'd like us to discuss, you can find us at thefriendshipuniversity@gmail.com. Again, all the handles and everything will be in the description box below. Mickey, what are your final thoughts?
Everybody should be staying home. It's crazy out there, y'all. Just stay home. Everyone should be introverts. Everyone needs to be an introvert right now.
You can have your bubble. That's fair, though. Because
it's wild.
I think I just read that monkeypox can now be transmitted with skin-to-skin contact. Like, if someone just touches you. Is that right?
How many pox are there? Like, how many animals can we go through?
Is it propaganda they're giving us to just make us scared? I don't know. I have to read more up on it. I have actively avoided news, like heavy news on these, because I just needed a break.
And this is why you don't have anxiety.
I mean, I guess thinking about polio coming back and...
No.
You're right. We on monkeypox.
Ignorance is bliss, girl. Live in ignorance.
But see, that's the thing. I'm not living in ignorance.
I'm not saying you are, but the less you know about what's going on around you, the slightly better off you will be.
I am feeling some kind of way because we are supposed to be going to a concert next week. And I'm trying to figure out,
Speaking of that concert, I can't believe we lost Doja Cat. Who we got now?
Mike Eason? Is that who we got? Let me see.
And snow allergies? Snow allergenics?
Snake Algeria. I don't know. Snow Allegra.
Never heard of her. No offense, Snow Girl. I wouldn't know you if you walked past me.
I'm gonna be very honest. The two songs I know by Snow Allegra have Tyler features on them. And anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge Tyler fan, and that's why I know those two tracks. But outside of that, I've seen the name, couldn't even tell you a track outside of those if my life depended on it. So Doja Girl, you better count your days, because I can't believe you did this to us. And yes, you have to get better. You had surgery on your tonsils, and I'm praying your voice and your vocal cords heal to back even better than what they were before. But the fact that you keep taunting us with social media posts and releasing new music, it's really making
She said,
me
I'm not doing music, but I'm doing music.
I'm not doing live performances, but I'm gonna still release music.
The kicker is the show before us gets Kate Trinata.
That actually is the kicker. Kate Trinata, how you not gonna come to Atlanta?
The ghetto. But those are my final thoughts.
That's fair. I agree. Retweet on all that. My final thoughts. You all listen to your friends. Don't be out here forcing people to do things they don't want to do. If you don't feel like it's in their... Even if you feel like it's in their best interest, it's still up to them to do it. But yes, Doja, count your days. Snow Allegra girl, I got... What is it? Six days to get it together, to get a catalog together, so I can have some type of reference of what you'll be singing. The weekend, you better bring it, because the fact that Doja's not going to be there,
okay,
I better feel like I am in
levitating.
I better be levitating. I better be out of time. I better feel like I am on the end of the road radio, whatever you said, FM radio. I better feel like it's the end of days. That's what I better feel like. Those are my final thoughts.
Hell yeah.
All right, we out.
Bye.